Now we're recording. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so in terms of ambassadors, from what I've seen so far in the previous symposiums, you don't have to pay. You only pay for your ticket. So in terms of that, the payment, you don't have to wait for anything. You just have to wait for the selection phase. If you get selected, the only thing that you have to pay is the ticket. In terms of your ticket, I'm not sure how you want to handle that. I'm not going to tell you how to handle that because that's on a case-to-case basis. For me, because it's in Europe, I book my ticket in front, so way in advance, so that I don't have to pay as much. And the 15 euros cancellation fee that I have to pay is much better than paying 200, 300 euros more. So in terms of that, that's your decision. If you want to wait to the last moment, if you want to book it in advance, if you want to do it either way, that's up to you. But for what I've seen so far, you don't have to pay anything alone, at least only your ticket. That's it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Tim.
Okay. And I just want to reiterate, just for the sake of the video, I'm sorry that the video from last week still hasn't been posted. I'm just going to reshare my screen for everybody else watching this recording, that I'm trying to post the video from last week and it is still loading. We're going on 2.5 hours now. And so this is where I've been for the last week, is struggling to post this video. So sorry guys for the delay. Also, I'm probably going to start posting just through WhatsApp, you guys, primarily through WhatsApp, because I get a maximum number of emails I can send in a day, which is 100, and I do max that out. So then nobody ends up getting an email from me if I send to all of you. So I'm going to try my best to get everything sent through email first thing, but if I can't, I'll send it through WhatsApp. So such as you guys got the Zoom invite, and I hope that's been working effectively. So let's see, Tim, anything we have for this week's agenda to talk about?
Well, I got a couple of things to talk about, but let's start with the submissions. So basically, last week we got the submissions from week 2, block 2, for marketing, and everybody's delivered, so that's a good thing. It has been sent to the students, and they were very happy with that. The analytic summaries that the B2B coaches have been doing, they were really surprising as well. There are a couple of things that we would like to have different, so we will be in contact for that, but don't worry about this week. We will be starting giving feedback starting from next week, from Monday. Because we just want to have a talk with the clients and how far they want to go with the weekly submissions. But one of the changes, and I'm actually happy about this, one of the changes, what's going to happen is that not only we will be in contact with the clients. So normally what we are doing is that either Vas or me or somebody else from administration is in contact with the clients, asking what they would like to have. Because normally when you're a client, and I'm pretty sure that if you're currently working as well, that you will notice that is that even if you hire something like Xculture to have students working on a consulting project or a problem statement that you have as a company, you normally don't have time to look at 5,000 papers, right? And we don't have that amount. That we have like early track 120 teams, so there's 120 papers, and then we have in the late track 800. But still, that's 1,000 papers approximately, and nobody's gonna look through 1,000 CVs or resumes when they want to hire somebody, right? So if you want to look through that information that you're actually attaining from Xculture, then you want to make sure that you spend as less time possible to get those ideas out of it. So what we have been trying to do so far with administration is that with the coaching program, we provide them with a weekly submission saying, okay, this is what the coaches are, or the students are working on. This is what the coaches said about them. And so this is what you can expect in the long term, so that they can already make up their mind saying, okay, team number 11, they had some really good ideas in terms of marketing. Let's look at it in the final report, so that they can categorize it for themselves. What we're going to do starting from next week. So next week, this is just an update for everybody, but you can see it in the Google Calendar as well. Next week, we have a break. So that means that you have no submissions, because Well, actually, I make a mistake. No, that's next week. So basically, first, what we will have is a short week, which means is that the submissions will come in today for the students, and then I will deliver it to you on Monday as fast as possible. And then those are the drafts of the students. So the student teams are giving us their drafts. They have to deliver their final report on Friday. So that means is that we have a limited time to actually give them feedback upon that. So by Wednesday, we want to have one piece of document that we can send it to them. So we're going to work on that. So it will be a short week. There will be no Sunday deliveries. It will only be on Wednesday. And then you have the whole week off. Starting from the week after that, you have a break. So that's just portfolio stuff. You can work on that if you have time, but you won't have weekly submissions. But I will send an email about this because not everybody is watching the recordings. But after that break, what is going to happen is that all the head coaches will be directly put in contact with the client. So yes, of course, I will be in CC just to make sure that communication between the client and the head coaches will be on a standard that we would like to see it. But in this case, you will be able to talk to the client yourself. So we're going to try this. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we're going to put like a sort of trial semester for it, so you can actually see if it works out or not. So yeah, let's just stop with that. Otherwise I talk too much. But in this case, what do you think about that? Is this something that you would like to see, something that you would like to see for your personal improvement as well? Or is it something that is not that relevant?
Tim, are you meaning talking to the clients?
Yeah, actual clients. Yeah. So instead of like, yeah, so in the company. So in terms of if the head coaches are split up by companies. So in this case, every single head coach that currently has a company will be directly contacting them via email.
Hey, Tim and Kim, Piyush here.
Hi.
Hey. So just a suggestion, can we have that a Zoom meeting kind of a thing with the clients so that even coaches can participate if they are willing to, I mean?
Well, we actually had one on Thursday, if I remember correctly, or it was on Wednesday, where we had 3 clients. I thought it was Laserwall and 2 others, where students were able to ask questions because we have 2 webinars each semester for the students to actually get some more information instead of only from the manual that they provide. And actually, coaches were invited by VAS to participate as well. So we do offer those twice per semester for each client. But in terms of this, that was the only thing that we offered per semester for coaches to be in contact with the clients, because we didn't want to have that chaos, and we didn't know if head coaches were able to pull it off, to get in contact with them, to be professional, etc. As you saw in this semester as well, we have 2 or 3 people that, due to time issues or due to other constraints, that they could not participate anymore. And if I assign a client to you based on the group or assignments that you have in the coaching program, then I need to be sure that you are able to communicate with them and don't let them wait if I assign you to them. Because although I will be in contact with them, with all of them, it takes a lot of time. And this would be, first of all, making sure that I have to spend less time on the clients, so that you can directly ask for feedback. This is what they want, what should they change on a weekly basis, etc., with your coaches. And at the same time, it provides you with some extra experience. So this is the change that we want to make. But I would like to hear your opinion, if this is something that you think you can take on as a head coach, or if this is something that you would like to do, or if you have concerns already and you would like to see it a different way.
Hey, Tim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so my concern would be how much time investment would it be? It would just be one email based on all the information that you got in from the different teams, and then you would send it directly to the company, and then the company would contact you. That's how it would work, or how would it work?
Yes, it would work in that kind of fashion, but it would not take as much time. Like I said, with the reports, if they have 1,000 reports, nobody is waiting on that to just go through every single paper. That's why they have executive summaries, etc. So the focus lies there with the papers. In terms of you talking to the client, currently, if I would talk to the client, it's just a short conversation, basically a meeting that you plan ahead in front, and basically ask for a couple of questions. You can do this via email, and that's what we're going to do first. So you're just going to send an email saying, okay, I'm the head coach for this company. Nice to meet you. I have a couple of coaches. We work on weekly submissions, and Xculture has given us access to this email account. Could you please provide us with some more details on, okay, what should be in the submission? What do you want to know? Because there are a couple of head coaches currently working on the B2B analytics summaries, and a lot of them have been really great so far, but it's still a lot of text. And as an executive summary, or at least if you have an analytics summary, you want to have as much information, but with as possible, the least possible words on the paper itself. So it's kind of min-maxing. But if I have to do that myself, for example, and I have to go by every single client and make sure that they're satisfied, etc., it's going to take a lot of my time. So what we are trying to do right now is that maybe it takes 5-10 minutes to send an email to say to meet up. Then you have a webinar, or if you want to just only have contact via email, you can just do that, but it shouldn't take that much time. But it's direct, so you don't have to wait for my answer. You don't have to wait for the questions from the coaches. If they want to have some more information on how to do the submission, you can instantly just ask. After the first submission, weekly submission, you can just ask, is this what you want? Is this something that is adequate? And if you get a response from the client, okay, this is not adequate, then they will probably give tips, and then you can adjust to that. And that in that kind of way, we're trying to, besides coaching, also give you some kind of consulting experience, working with clients, getting some communication going on.
Okay, that kind of answers my question. My only other concern would be, how do we contact you if we're interested in that program, in being part of that specific program?
Just via email. Just let me know via email if you are interested or not, and I will let you know. We currently are in contact. Well, we had actually a conversation with Vas last night in terms of how we wanted to do that, because so far the feedback is going great, but the communication and getting clients to be satisfied, etc., with the reports that they're getting is a different topic. And we haven't been doing that much effort with the coaching program. So now it's getting transferred to the coaching program. So we will be discussing how the logistics will be done in the next 2 weeks before the late track starts. But as soon as the late track starts, and that is in 2 weeks, like not next week, but the week afterwards, then I will be in contact. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you want to have some more consulting experience talking to clients, you're free to just email me.
Thank you once again.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Of course.
Oh, hi, Tim, by the way. Yeah, I actually like the idea. Just have one quick question. Since I'm applying to a master's program, they require us to provide some sort of proof of what we did, actually, what we put on our curriculum. So my question would be, in case we decide that we have direct communication with the clients, would it be possible to ask them maybe to provide some sort of, I don't know, I wouldn't say feedback on our communication, but something like that, like saying, okay, this head coach was good in doing this, bad in doing that, something like that. Do you think it would be possible?
I think it would be possible. Like I said, we will be talking the terms with all the clients. We will have a conversation with all of them and discuss the terms and what is possible, what they would like to have, what kind of communication model, etc. So yeah, we will definitely be discussing this. But in terms of getting sort of proof, I would say that's possible, but in that, like for now, because I haven't been talking to the clients as of yet, but for now, I would see it possible in terms of I would talk to the client. They would give you feedback, and that feedback goes into the recommendation letter from both Xculture and them. In terms of that, that would provide you with proof from both clients, from us and from the client itself. But it would not require them to actually provide time and set time apart to actually write the recommendation letter. So I think in terms of feedback from them, yes. But I think the recommendation letter in terms of what you've done and who's backing that information up, that would be Xculture.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you, Tim.
And then Karina, you had a question. Karina? Hi, Karina.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I have a question. Sorry, I missed on the beginning of the webinar. So Tim was talking about us getting in touch with the clients. So my question is, for instance, I'm a B2B head coach. So I'm already delivering the analytical summaries for them. So this conversation would be to get like a feedback for them. For instance, am I delivering everything you need to know? Do you want any extra information? Would that be the purpose of emailing the clients?
Yes. So in terms of that, currently what the setup is that we have Vas, me, Kim, and a couple of professors. In terms of the analytic summaries, the analytic summaries get through all those people. So basically, I give feedback upon that. Vas gives feedback upon that. Kim gives feedback upon it. And professors, the board of supervisors, before they go to the clients, they give feedback upon that, and then we give you feedback. What we want to have is a situation, and that's not done with coaching before for Xculture. What we want to have is a more autonomous situation where the clients actually provide you with feedback. In our understanding, we give a very basic, well, it depends on what kind of experience. Like I have a lot of experience with business development, so I know if I give you feedback what I'm talking about. But in terms of the rest of the people, Vas and the supervisors, they basically have a more educational background, right? So they look at your feedback as a more constructive, how can it be improved, etc. What I want to have in the coaching program and what we discussed yesterday with Vas is that we provide the next semesters to come, that the coaches actually can get feedback from clients. And that kind of feedback from clients, and you will see that when you're doing it in 2 weeks, is very different from what kind of feedback we're giving. We're giving improvements, we're giving constructive educational background. What they will be doing is literally be direct to you and say, okay, I don't have time to look at this. Like, this is too much information. You have to short it down to like 1 page. I need bullet points. I need infographics, whatever it is. Just give me tables. And you can see the difference in the submissions that we've currently had from you guys in the last 2 weeks, that some people only in their analytic summary gave tables. They really made all the information that they got from the 6 reports that they had. They just not wrote anything down. They just put it in tables and they just make comparisons. So everybody has a different technique. And with clients, and you will notice that, is that they will be very direct to you. And every single client has a different need. Both B2B head coaches have 2 clients. So I would not be surprised if one client would ask you to do a summary of 1 page and with bullet points, and where the other client would be, I want to have a full report for 4 pages, and I need this information, I need that information, I need that information. So that is the kind of extra step, and we're moving towards that point where we want to have a more direct communication with clients.
Okay, Tim, thank you.
And just to answer or like recap what I said in the head coaching group, this is not something that the coaches would know, but in the head coaching group, I mentioned a couple of extra projects that we could use help with, and that could be part of the coaching program starting from the next semesters if there is currently in this semester any people that want to participate in that. But I mentioned a couple of projects, and this falls into one of them. So basically the Xculture growth and credentials. So what we want to make sure is that we get a lot of accreditations so that we can have a bigger program and that it's also renowned for it. And we currently already have some steps going forward for that. And this is also something with the coaching program where we want to improve. We want to make the coaching program not only about providing feedback, making a portfolio for yourself so that you can actually use that in a job application, but also make sure that the coaching can actually be a sort of consulting. You're basically consulting right now to the students, giving feedback, making sure that the students, which technically are your clients, you're making them happy, making sure that they know what to improve and how they can better themselves. In terms of the next step that we want to do, as I already told you, is that you do that with actual clients so that it becomes more a consulting experience. And if everything goes right in the next couple of years, in the next couple of semesters already, actually, we will have a setup where the original coaching, the original program, the X-Culture with students, has a set amount of companies working for them. So we can only allow, with the 5,000 students that we have per semester, we can only allow like max 15. We used to have 5, then we set up for 10, and now we have 15. But we have a lot more companies coming in asking for feedback from students on their problem statements, because we're an NGO, it's cheaper than a consulting firm, and actually it works out for them because they get a lot of quantity papers where they can get some quality information out of. So what we're hoping to do is that we don't want to have that cap anymore, where X-Culture can only accept 15. But if we have 20 companies coming to us, that those 5 other companies can be used for X-Culture coaching consulting, for example, where actual head coaches will be in charge of a client, those 5 clients, and that they would help them with providing a project, or that they would actually serve their needs, etc., for a price. So we're going towards that step. And when that step comes, we can also actually provide a certain compensation for those head coaches due to the price that the clients give us for that service. So we're trying to improve the program plus what it becomes every single semester.
That's great.
Any more questions? Because I'm already starting to feel that I'm talking too much. So Kim, if you can take over.
Tim, you're not talking too much. Let me, hold on. I'm fussing with my YouTube videos. So any questions so far about how to, okay. Oh, I think we went over it last semester, or maybe last webinar. If you guys are reviewing comments, I don't know if you guys know how to use the filter function on Excel, but filter is kind of going to be your lifesaver. So when you're going through a couple hundred comments, let me show you, see if I can pull up a good, like a good list. Let's see. So 1 second, guys. Have you, does anybody know what I'm talking about when I'm saying filters?
Yes, Kim.
Yeah, okay, good. So, oh, here's a good one. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. And let me see where we are. Okay, 1 second, guys. Share screen. And let's go to my Excel. Okay, so this is your main, oops, wrong one, wrong Excel. Let's try a different one. Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna open a different one. Let's go to coaches and companies. All right, so this is your Excel, right? And you can go to data and use filters. Say, okay, so you're gonna have like a big data set full of comments. For those of you who don't know, this turns on a button and you can say that the comments are in this section, this column right here. Okay, so use your filters and filter for keywords like issue or communication, lack of participation. Use keywords. So if I filter this by a company that I know is here, So I pull up everybody working in that company. This is from last semester. But use your filter features to make your life easier and code the data for you. So you end up going through your data sets much faster with your comments. So you can actually take out all the people who didn't say any comments. And I mean, if they don't have any comments, don't worry about them. So you can take out all the things that are blank or the things that just have like a period in them. And only search, and just so that way you have just data that is relevant to you and what you're doing. So I wanted to just kind of share that real quick to make some coaches' lives a little bit easier, so that way you're spending 20 minutes rather than 2 hours doing comments, okay, and looking for issues. So any questions, you guys, on that? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing there. And as far as I know, some of you guys volunteered to be part of my guinea pig experiment with Google Classroom. So let me pull up that too, since we're here. And 1 second, guys. So this is I'm going to share the screen with you real quick on if you guys want to be part of Google Classrooms. You don't have to. It's not mandatory. This is just kind of a thing I'm trying to play with. I got a license for it. So let me see where I can share my screen again. Oh, Maria, yes. What's your question?
Hey.
Hi, Maria.
Hey, so yeah, hey, I'm sorry.
Hey,
so like I asked you like a couple weeks ago if I can help with the weekly comments, and then I got this like email from admin X Culture.
That's
and
me.
It has this
Oh, wait,
Dropbox.
that's me.
Is that you? Yeah.
No, I'm the coaching at X Culture. So the admin, what did the admin one say?
It just says, "Dear coaches, FYI, attached below," and it just gave me like this like Dropbox link and like copies of the weekly deliverables. So like I'm wondering if like the link is like will be updated, or like every week it will be updated and I can just use like the same link.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah, so the admin, that was Vas, well, or students that basically work for him. I will still be sending out the weekly submissions via email, but if you by any chance don't see the email, or it falls into your spam, or there's some issue that you lost it or you don't know how to find it anymore, this is the email that Vas sent out, just to make sure that that doesn't happen, so that you always have a way to find your submissions. So every single week, I will take the submissions and put them in that folder. Okay, so you will get a personal email from me with your assignments per group, and you will have the opportunity or ability to basically make sure that you can get the documents from that folder. So just make sure that you don't lose that email, so that whenever you have a question or you cannot find your documents, you can always find them there. However, in terms of that, the admin is done by one of our administrators. So in this case, he or she will be putting the documents in that specific folder, which means is that probably it will not be categorized by company. So if you are worried about that you have to go every single submission, for example, the late track with 800 plus teams, you have to go through every single submission, seeing, okay, if this is going to be from my company, because normally the subjects from the students are very off, like a couple of numbers, couple of weird names, and then you finally find the team number. So if you don't want to wait for that, just wait till you get your submissions via email from me. Otherwise, you can always find your submissions there. Okay?
All right, I got it. So everything, all the documents, everything are there, basically.
Yeah, so basically that's, all the documents are there. So even if, for example, I would lose track of all the documents that I have to get from the students and I would have to organize them, if by any chance I'm missing something, I will go back to that folder as well. So that's basically the database of all the things that is going to happen for this semester. So even I go to that particular folder, and then I will make sure that you always get like an email with your specific submissions so that you don't have to wonder, okay, what submission do I have to do? But if by any chance for myself or for you and you need a document or you forgot a document, you can always get it back there, okay?
All right. Thanks.
All right. And so you guys, this is going to be the Google X Culture, Google Classroom. So I can post videos, I can post Google Calendar. The thing I like about Google is that it's all, once you have a Google Drive, everything communicates with each other. So if I update a Google Calendar, you guys can all see what's coming or what's due in this section right here. And then also I can post videos. And what I like about posting videos to one common platform is that you guys, if you can't attend, you can at least watch the video later and comment on the video, kind of like a blog spot. And it shows me that you at least watched the video and that's your participation. So it's kind of, it helps me and it also helps you guys with flexibility of your time. And so we also can create assignments. Like I said, the Google Calendar, the class drive folder. This would be a good spot for us to have all documents that you guys would need. So if you guys are looking for like the curriculum for each week for the companies and what the students are supposed to be submitting, I would put those there. And also we could also put the submissions or the reviews in there as well after we've consolidated them and made the reports each week. So there's a lot of good things I see about Google Classrooms if you guys are willing to be a guinea pig. Once if I can get YouTube to work, because we're still sitting, I've been sitting at this 2% or 2 minutes remaining for about 10 minutes now. And so if I can get YouTube to work, then I can get Google Classrooms to work. So, but I know a couple people volunteered. So if you guys are still interested or newly interested, let me know if you guys want to be part of Google Classroom's experiment or possibly future platform. It's free for us to use and I think it'd be fun. So
Yes, Kim, Piyush here. I'm ready for it.
hi Piyush. Thank you. You and I think Maria also said, and Lerda, a couple people. So I'll keep you guys posted once the platform's ready, just for some fun play around, and let me know if there's any glitches with it, what's not user friendly, because I want to know before if we were to actually use this. Tim, what do you think?
I think it's perfect. Like, I know that you're arranging all the weekly webinars because I literally don't have time for them, but I mean, I'm surprised. Like, if it works with the classroom thing, then I would be happy to do that.
Yeah, I love it. It's free. It's Google has everything. So if you guys are able to access Google, then it's amazing. So, and it's also, you can upload your documents if you have what is that word? Why can't I think of it? Google Word or Google, I don't know, but yeah, Google Docs.
I think it's Google Drive. Yeah,
Google Drive, Google Docs, anything.
There you go. Yeah. Actually, that's what I'm using for my team. Like, we get everything together, organized in like neat folders, and then they just open them. It's really easy to manage. It's just like, it gets a little bit of time to get used to it.
Exactly. But once you have a system down, it makes it so much easier. And using the Google Classrooms, you can upload anything from Google Docs so easily. You don't have to search your computer for where did you save your file, but it's really easy just to manage it. So I'm trying to get all the glitches out and make sure it's operator friendly. So that's it. That's what's to come. Maybe maybe semester B, or maybe even possibly this summer. So who knows? Who knows? I'm excited. But any questions about, so you guys have no questions about the comments. I showed you guys an easier tip on how to filter through comments. And then also the reviews on weekly submissions reports. And any questions about Canada? No? So yes.
Yeah, I have it.
Hi, Blerda.
Hello to all. Can you please just say approximately when we're going to have the results? I mean, the results, if you are going to be like ambassadors of the symposium or no, is going to be in April or May?
So basically the results, the final results will be in April, as was mentioned in the email. But in terms of the selection process, I'm assuming that once the decision has been made, which top 20 or which top 50 are going to be chosen from, then the selection process is going to start. And they will have a talk with you, Skype conversation, etc. Because currently, the only thing, if I'm correct, what you have been doing is sending out a form and by applying. So in this case, they will be in contact with you and gathering some more information. So you will be receiving more information about that. I'm not sure when, because Lenani is taking care of this, but I'm pretty sure that she will be in contact with you before April when the final result come in.
Okay, thank you, Tim.
But as I said, like, I'm not sure if you were in the beginning of the webinar here as well, but as I said,
I was here.
Okay, then everything is good.
If anything, we should just mention it again for the head coaches that were not here. So the question was if the head coaches need to pay before March 15 if they apply for ambassadors. And I think you mentioned that we have to wait until we get the results for them to apply. But if you have travel plans, if you're far away from Canada, you should probably get your ticket before it gets more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know people, actually, close friends of mine, that they don't book their ticket in advance. They just book it like at the airport itself, so that they can just get a really short notice flight, which normally is more expensive. But if you are lucky, then you get like a really cheap price. But yeah, I would really advise to just go for an early ticket if you want to really go to Canada. And if you don't have the selection process yet under your belt, then just make sure that you have like a 15 euro or 20 euros and cancellation fee. Like, I think it's not more than that, if I'm correct. So think about it. If you have to buy a ticket once you know in April that you have been selected, probably the price is like 200, 300 euros more, right? So 15 euros extra paying for just cancellation fees is not that much. Just to make sure that you have a cheap ticket, and every single thing, if you're getting selected for the ambassador situation, then everything is for free from that moment forward. So you only have to pay for your ticket. So make sure that you don't overpay. Okay.
Some meals are not included. Like some meals are not included. So just have a little bit extra meal money.
Okay. But
Yeah.
that would be around, like, let's say
It's
50
cheap.
to 100 euros, like for 2 weeks. maybe.
Yeah, super cheap.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if there are any more questions about anything else. Otherwise, I would like to discuss some feedback. I will give more feedback by email. So you will get like a Word document from me with some extra feedback for each team and for each of the B2C and B2B, so that they know what they could improve. And once we start with the clients, you also get information and feedback from them, of course. But I would like to just pick 2 documents at random and discuss them in this webinar. And then I would like to hear your opinion. So I will not be saying much in the first instance. I will just show the documents, and I would like to hear your opinion about that specific report. And then let's go through it together so that we can see if you already notice what's wrong or if what could be improved, sort of kind of exercise, okay? But first, let's discuss if there are any more questions. Otherwise, let's do that first then. So everything is clear. Nobody has questions. I cannot believe it.
So can you repeat the question one more time?
Well, just if they have any questions about the situation currently for this week, like comments, portfolio, what they have to deliver, making groups maybe, etc. We have one in chat actually.
Can I just make a short question at the end?
Sure.
All right, so can we choose a topic out of the X-Culture program that actually be provided as a head coach? Or I suppose to choose something, but it actually is part of X-Culture to do as my portfolio with the next topics?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I was at the same time reading one of the questions.
Don't worry. Okay, so the point is that this is going to be my third portfolio right now.
Mhm.
And the first one was everything doing about Xculture. So the second one actually was even Xculture is some topic that actually I choose it because of my research paper that I'm doing as a researcher and stuff like this. So now I want to do something that is not part of Xculture. So I want to choose some topics regarding to a research paper portfolio. To a pet project. And so I want just to do webinar and video lectures regarding to one topic, but actually Xculture, like a handbook and everything we actually have dealing till now. Is that okay?
I love
Yes.
that idea.
Yeah, so right now we set to the head coaches that they have to provide something for the coaches, not for the students. So it would be more for their feedback, like that they could improve some aspects of themselves. Yes, I would be totally okay with that. I already told Karina as well before the semester started that if she wanted to do something about what she's doing in her own job currently, then that is okay as well. Like a sort of, I cannot come up with the word right now. Karina, help me. Like something about legal thing. I cannot come up with the word, but in this
Like
case,
a manual or a contract?
no, more like I can really not come up with the word right now, but yeah, so it's totally fine. You can do that. Just make sure that I know about it and that I can evaluate it and give feedback. But in this case, yes, that's not a problem as a head coach.
Thank you.
For this week, Tim, we have to submit the proposals for 3 things, right?
Yes, well, it depends. Like, let me just quickly get the email in front of me myself, because I had put down a lot of stuff that needed to be done, like 4 things for Sunday. And one of that was the portfolio that I wanted to have. So it's just a proposal, just a couple of words, like a 1-page document about all 3 deliverables that you have to do. So I just want to know what your concept will be, what your idea is going to be, how you want to do it. And then I will just give you feedback upon that, and then we will move towards the draft. So then you will really give me detailed information once it is approved. So that was one. Then for the HCM coaches, so basically the coaches that are managing the groups, they have their own deliverables. So basically the students that gave their submissions, they have to give feedback upon that by Sunday. Then the B2C coaches have to give feedback on the previous week. So basically today they will give feedback upon your work that you did with the coaches. And then B2B had week 2 analytics summary. So basically the same what the coaches were doing for week 2, but then giving information from the students to the clients. So those were the 4 things. So in fact, as you're a coach, you only have to do 2 things. You have to do the proposal, and you have to provide the feedback from the students. So basically work on that with your group.
Thanks, Tim.
Any more questions? I know there was somebody in the chat actually. Do I have to pay the fee?
Okay, so Tim.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so to be clear on the proposals, does that mean we should have all 3 proposal topics on a sheet or a page, rather than having like 3 pages for each proposal?
Yeah, I left it open for everybody to interpretate how the assignment would have been done by themselves, just because that allows for a little bit of creativity. Like I only mentioned that the formatting should be in Word, and it should be 1 or 2 or 3 pages, between 1 and 3 pages, so you could easily decide for yourself, do I want to make it short or do I want to make it long? It's just a proposal. So if I would do a proposal verbally with a client, it's basically saying like, okay, I think I have a new product. What do you think about it? This is it, this and this and this and this would make sure that it would provide us with revenue, etc. And that would be just a 2-minute conversation. So it's not necessary to write more than 1 page if you do it in bullet points, right? The only thing that I want to know from you is what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and what do you want to achieve with it, right? And how you want to express that to me, that's up to you. So you can make it really nice, be creative, be out of the box thinking, etc. Or you can just be very simple and send me a 1-sentence page saying like this and this and this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and you will get more details from me in my draft. So it's up to you how you want to do it. So I gave that kind of freedom so that you don't feel limited in what you want to do. But of course, I'm going to give you feedback on your proposal. And if something is unclear, if I'm confused of what you want to do, that's a problem. Okay, so then I will contact you and I will ask you what is up. What do you want to do? How am I going to do this with you, etc. So I will give you feedback on this next week. So it has to be clear in some way, but how you want to do it is up to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay, perfect. Now let's go through the chat. Yeah, so in terms of the registration fee for the symposium, like I'm not like, let's put it like this. Leilani is responsible for the symposiums. I do know a little bit on how the process works because Kim and I and a couple of other head coaches have been through the process for a couple of times already. And Kim and I also know it from the corporate side, like structure side, how these things work. But in terms of the registration fee, that depends. I know for a fact that coaches or ambassadors don't have that fee because there's a selection process, right? In terms of students, they do have a registration fee, but if I'm correct, and I'm not sure if that's if anybody from the head coaches or Kim knows this, but in terms of the fee that you have to pay, I'm pretty sure that that X-Culture only requests that once you have been selected. So
Correct.
Yeah, so in terms of that, I would wait. So you have to wait till you get selected, same as the ambassadors, and then pay the fee once you get selected.
Hi Tim. Maybe I'll give a little bit more context to this question. So I've already been selected as a student, but now I'm applying as an ambassador. So to register as a student, I need to pay the fee, but I'm still waiting for the results of the ambassador, which will come later.
And
so how does that work then?
So in that case, oh, sorry. Oh,
no, yeah, well, you can answer it. You can answer it.
In that case, you can wait, and if Vas questions, tell him that you are waiting for your verdict on if you get accepted as a ambassador. He'll totally understand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Vas only concern, like the problem is Vas is not taking care of these things. So once you don't pay as a student, or once you don't pay as an ambassador, if that was still the case in the previous semesters, it was. Right now it's for free. You only have to pay your ticket. But when it was the case, I think for the small symposiums, such as the Washington one, where only 50 people came, 50 students, you basically, I think Peter was in charge of that, Peter Magnuson. So basically he will be contacting you, okay, you didn't pay, what's up, how is it going, like, are you still interested in coming, should we select somebody else from the pool? In terms of the global symposium, Leilani is the one that does that. I'm not sure if she has somebody that does the finances for her, but I'm pretty sure that Vas is not the one for that. So you can send a message to Vas and say if he can pass the message along to her, but I'm pretty sure that he won't care as much. He will not be there, because the last symposium that we had with Leilani, he basically said, I didn't do anything, I just came and I enjoyed and I left. So in terms of that, just wait. Just do what Kim said, just wait. If you get a message from somebody, they will probably ask you, okay, we still have you on the list, you didn't pay yet, what's up? And then at that moment, when you get that message, then you send an email back saying, I'm just waiting for the ambassadorship position. If that doesn't go through, I will pay with as fast as possible. So just wait for now, don't do anything, and then the person that is in charge of the finances will contact you. Okay. The last date for fees. I do know that there's a deadline. I'm not sure when it is, but then again, so once the deadline passes and you haven't paid yet, and it's the same for the coaching program. If you haven't paid yet, you basically get a message from us at a certain point. And for the symposium, that is when the deadline passes, or a week before that. They will tell you, okay, we still haven't received the payment. How long is it going to take, or are you not interested anymore? So make sure that once you get that email, then move forward and telling them, okay, hey, I need a week more, or I need this. They're very, like, X-Culture in itself, and we as well, Kim and I, we are very lenient, as if only if there's a reason. So if there's an issue with the payment, that's totally fine. The only conflict, or like not conflict, but requirement that we have is that the payment is done before the symposium starts. So basically you have to pay before you can actually go to the symposium, a couple of weeks before, I think, so that they, if you cannot come, they can actually get somebody else on board for that position. And for the coaching program, it's basically before you get the certificate, because if you do the whole coaching program, but you have not paid the fee, you don't get the X-Culture certificate plus the recommendation with it. And if, like, there were a couple of coaches that actually did this, they did the whole coaching program, participated, and didn't pay at the end, but did ask me for a recommendation letter a month later because they were applying for a job. So we have a full record of that. Who applied, who participated, who passed, etc. And we have that for the last 2 years. So in this case, if that happens, we will not give you a recommendation letter because we know that you didn't pay. So just make sure that for the symposium, for the coaching program, both of those cases, that you keep that in mind. Yeah, so I'm not sure what the exact date is. I'm sorry for that. Because that's not my department, but in this case, I would assume, yes, a couple weeks before the symposium starts. So that would be June, beginning June, June in the middle, something like that. Okay, so if there's an error making the payment, I would contact Bas directly. Just ask him, hey Bas, I tried to make the payment for the symposium. It's not working out. Could you please direct me to the person in charge of this so that I can make the payment? Okay, very easy. 1 minute email, and then I'm not sure when he's going to reply. We're currently very busy, but in terms of getting a reply back, it should not take more than 2-3 days at most. Oh, you already asked him? Am I correct with 2-3 days, or did he answer way too late? Okay, that's in 2 weeks. Okay, then I will send an email for you. I will ask him. I will write it down, and I will ask him how it is with the payments, who is in charge of that, because I actually need to call him anyway, because I forgot yesterday to ask him about the coaching emails. So that will be okay. No worries. I will ask. Any more questions? Otherwise, we will start with feedback, because I would like to hear your opinion, how you guys think about certain features of a document or a report.
Yeah, just last question, Tim. I'm sorry.
No, sure. Go.
The semester will end at the end of the May or at the beginning of the June?
It will end. Well, the final report, if the final portfolio deadline, if I'm correct, according to the Google Calendar, it should be at the end of May. I'm not sure about the exact date. And then we have time to provide your certificates, recommendations till the end of May, so beginning of June. So that would be 31st of May or the 1st of June. That's when we will be handing out the certificates, recommendations after receiving all the stuff. Because I think the portfolio is due in the 3rd week, and then we have a full 4th week to actually talk about, okay, look at your work, give feedback, etc., and then make an overall grade of how you performed. So yes, I think end of May, beginning of June, that's exactly where you have to look at when you get your certificates.
Okay, thank you.
Another question. Yeah, when I ask about if the payment methods that they're not working and who's in charge of that, I will also ask if you can pay through net banking. Actually, if you can send me an email, because I'm pretty sure that although I'm writing it down, that I will forget due to the other stuff that I have to do. If you can send me an email, because I check my email every single day, if you can send me an email and put that information in there, both of you actually, then we can, I can just ask him directly, okay? This meeting started an hour ago.
And my video is still not uploaded.
Still not uploaded.
It's still, YouTube is the worst right now. I don't know what's going on, and it's been like this all week. I'm sorry, guys, for not sending you your video. We're still loading it onto YouTube, and it's been like this for a week. So
that is promising for this webinar.
I'm probably going to stop loading it to YouTube and just submit it directly to WhatsApp.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure if WhatsApp actually allows such a big data file to be uploaded directly to WhatsApp, but maybe if you put it in Dropbox and give a link towards the Dropbox, maybe that works.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of links, everybody, I just submitted a form, Google survey form to WhatsApp regarding time zones or time slots for webinars. So go ahead and fill that out when you guys get a chance. I would like to know what times work best for you guys. Okay, so at your own convenience. That's all.
Okay.
Okay.
So if there are no more questions, oh, well, yeah, there was one question about webinars and groups, sorry. Yes, so as I mentioned in the email, for your proposal, if you want to do it with somebody, that is allowed. So you don't have to do it individually. You can, and that's only not in your entire group. You can also meet different groups and ask them if they want to participate. So if you have somebody that is interested in doing the same subject, or this is a different method, if you all send me your submissions for the portfolio proposal, and I see that there are aligning subjects that could be put together, I will ask you via an email if you would like to work with this person, okay? So as I mentioned in the email, I think the max amount is 3 people, 4 people maximum, because I don't want to have too large of a group. But yes, so you can group up with 3 to 4 people, and that's a very good question. You can also exactly meet up with different people from outside of your normal group, okay? So you don't have to only be in group 1. You can also be in group 2, working with people.
Also, you guys, if you guys need a moderator for Zoom, I'm happy to let you guys use the executive account. If it's in the time zone I can work with. But so if you guys need an executive account, say you don't have good access, I'm happy to help out and help. If you guys want to use like the poll features to ask questions to your audience, I'm also happy to program those for you. So just give me a heads up in advance if you're planning on needing help with that. And Maria, you've got a question. Maria.
I have a question regarding the webinar. So basically, like, we submit proposals, right? And so I'm assuming that not all proposals will be approved, or?
Oh, all proposals, most like with moderation. So all proposals eventually get approved. You either have moderations or no modifications. So say that your topic is not quite relevant to students in the program. We'd say let's tweak it a little bit so it can cater to the audience, correctly, but all proposals will help you get them approved. Okay.
Okay, because like I've been thinking that like if my proposal is like not approved, like thinking to like make a group with another like head coach and do like a webinar together. So like I'm just wondering like if all proposals will be approved or like
we make sure that all proposals will get approved.
Yeah.
We'll help you.
All right, all right.
I mean, if it doesn't go well in the first round, for example, if you send it to me today, according to the deadline, and I mean, like, there's only one sentence, as I mentioned, like, because I gave you that freedom. If there's only one sentence explaining me, okay, I want to do it about plagiarism, but there's nothing else there, then you're expecting me or Kim to basically say, oh, so they are going to do it about plagiarism. I am expecting that they're going to do this, this, and this, and this, but it's not mentioned. So yes, all proposals are going to be approved in some kind of way, but some require more modifications, some require less modification. And if it is really not up to par, we will still be in contact and ask you if you have a different subject or if there's something that we can do otherwise, etc. So in any case, it's not a test. It's basically asking you, you have to do these assignments, but we give you the freedom to choose the subject yourself. Because, for example, what Blurta said, she is using the portfolio or the subjects that she's choosing as a secondary objective for her PhD or for her research, etc. So you can think ahead of this as well. If you are applying for a company that goes into the consulting area industry, then be aware that you can choose a subject that has something to do with that. So you can use it as leverage, saying, I have researched this or I have done this that could help me with my application. So everything has, like, that's why we gave you the freedom. You just have to make sure that we understand what you want to do and that it, and we will make sure that it aligns to what we want to see. Okay.
All right. All right.
Okay, last question, because otherwise we don't, like, we already on top of the hour, and we should move forward to feedback because I want to have it done.
Oh, you guys, I'm sorry. I forgot to tell you about daylight savings time. Sorry, everybody. That's a thing here in the United States. I'm so sorry. Yes, today was daylight savings time. Sorry.
Well, I was late almost as well, actually, because I thought I was at 6 Spanish time, and then I suddenly got a message on WhatsApp saying, "Yeah, well, still 10 minutes to go," and I was like, "What? What?"
Yes.
No. So yes, so I had to cancel a meeting, but no.
I don't know why we still have it. Sorry, guys. From daylight savings. Okay, go on, Tim.
Last question in terms of this is a private one, but yeah, in terms of getting your letter, like invitation letter for the symposium, or if you need like a recommendation letter or support letter for getting a visa or something like that, that should be arranged when you apply. So when you are in the selection process, not even selected yet, but if you are selected or not, or in the process of being selected, and I know that one of the coaches already said, yes, I have been selected already. So in terms of that, you should have received an email from either Lalani or from her staff that they are giving out support letters. So if you need one, you can ask for one. I know that you're asking if they can forward it directly. That's something you would have to ask them, because I could ask for you, but that's not something that I would ask Vas. So I would have to ask Lalani about that, because he will probably say, yes, I will pass it along. So Vas is, I don't really have to contact Vas for that.
And yes, the X-Culture emails are only for contacting students when you start doing your cases, which you will, in groups with other coaches. So you'll be using, unless you really prefer to use your personal email, I'm going to let you guys choose. I'll send you guys another questionnaire. Let me know if you guys prefer to have your personal email as the contact, or it has to be a professional's, like it can be Maria last name or M somebody, but it can't be like Tinkerbell something. It has to be like a professional email sounding when a student receives it, okay? So if you guys prefer to use your personal email, that's fine as long as it's professional. But if you prefer security, we can use Xculture email, okay? And I'll let you guys choose and tell me which one you want, okay?
Yeah, and for the clients, when we start with that in 2 weeks, when you are able to contact a client or you're assigned a client and you get their information details, that only goes by your Xculture account, okay? So that will not be done by personal emails. It will only be done by corporate accounts. So just to let you know. So if you want to partake in that, if you want to talk directly to the clients and get some consulting experience, then you will have to use your Xculture account. So just to keep that in mind. Okay, so I don't see any questions anymore. If there are any questions, Kim, if you could answer them while I'm doing the feedback, just to make sure that everything goes well. And I will just put up the paper that I want to discuss first and share my screen. Share.
Can I say something regarding the mail?
Sure, go ahead.
I haven't received yet my Xculture mail. I guess you know that. So do I have to do something or just wait for that?
Oh no, wait for that. Don't have to do anything. Like, that's my responsibility. Like, as I said in the email or via WhatsApp, it is very, like, I've been in contact with IT for a couple of weeks right now for the bios and for your photos to be uploaded on the website. The issue that they presented me with is that the current, because we have been doing the coaching program for a couple of years right now, and actually the database that they're using is at a cap, so they cannot create any more email accounts. So I asked them if it would help them if I would send a list with all the emails that are not necessary anymore, that they can delete, and then create new ones for this semester. Unfortunately, I haven't got an answer back yet. So right now, I'm still waiting, but I have a conversation with Vas to see what's going on there. Maybe the person is sick, or maybe the person is so overloaded with other stuff that he cannot make sure that the emails are there by the end of this week. I was actually expecting them this Friday, but we will get in contact with them and keep you updated, okay?
Good to know. Thank you, Tim.
And like, I tried to share my screen, but currently the only thing that is sharing or freezing at this moment is the screen in front of me. So.
Oh, 1 second. Let me make you a host.
No, it's fine. Can you see my screen right now?
No. Hold on. I can.
Right now?
Oh, yep. Now you're good.
Okay, perfect. So everybody can see this, right? I'm not sure if this is in the way because I can actually see everything.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is like, it doesn't matter whose report this is, okay? So we're not gonna give judgments or critical feedback to the person that created this with their team, okay? But I just wanted to look through some documents and just review them together with you so that when I give you feedback in a couple of days later, you understand why I gave that feedback. And I first actually want to know from you guys, if you read this right now, skim through it, what do you see? Or from just an eye perspective, what do you notice? And it would be nice because I actually saw it last webinar, that was last Sunday. I saw that there were a lot of people that weren't afraid to talk. So it would be really nice that's where this idea came from, to actually have a sort of discussion about this so that you get more information about this, get more experience, plus I can get a little bit more discussion going on. So who wants first? And we can switch pages. So this is the 2 first pages, but we will switch through the pages once we're finished with just these 2 pages, okay?
I would say that there is so much text.
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
She says there's too much text.
There's too much plain text, yeah, with no bullet points
Okay.
to make it.
Okay, so you're basically saying that you cannot instantly see the information that is relevant, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, okay. Anybody else?
Maria says, so many Adobe programs there.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the layout of the program. It looks very nice. Just the intro page, but I don't know if it's required.
That depends. So the feedback for the students, that is based on just what they submit. So as you can see in their documents, they all have a different layout. So it's not based on a certain requirement. We give them formatting, but how they want to do the first front page or how they want to put everything together in the whole document, that's up to them, as long as they stick to the formatting requirements. In terms of the B2B clients, which we will have a paper later on this webinar, you will see that there are some requirements and there actually is less kind of texture in terms of pictures, etc. Because it's not that necessary. As an executive, you just want to see, hey, I see these bullet points, I want to see this information, etc. So for this, actually, yes, I agree that it looks really very nice in terms of the front page. And as you can see, it's 2 pages next to each other because it works like this in view for Zoom. But if I go to next pages, you can see that this is the 3rd and 4th page, and this is the 5th and 6th page, etc. Okay, so as a whole, as a document, yes, it looks, the first page, if I would see this on my desk, the first page does makes me want to look deeper into the paper. Yes. Anything else? Okay, let's go to the, okay, this is the same as the 2 first pages. Okay, so let's go to this one. I think that is very interesting. So anything about this? And Kim, if there is anything in the chat, I cannot read the chat at the moment. So if there is any question, let me know, okay?
It asks if the font size is supposed to be this large. What font size do you have, Tim? Is that 13, 14?
I don't know. I would have to check for a second because
It's
I have
probably
to put
deceptive
on
the screen.
But I'm not sure if I, oh, wait.
It's okay. I think we're probably in what, Arial?
Okay, yeah, so now I get it in 1-page form. So basically, it is not that large. It was just in view mode that it was, it's 12, okay? So it's 12. It's
That's
decent.
standard.
Yeah, normally 11, 12 is normal size font, okay? So yeah, as I said, the first page is attractive to look at, and then you go to this page. And actually, if I can go back to the, but then I have to open it again, I think. Wait, I will just quickly do this. And then go back to.
I think we're in Believe.
Yeah, but it was coaches that did this, so this one. Because seeing 2 pages is better than, yeah. Okay, now I see 3 pages, even better. I'm not sure what my computer is doing at the moment, but this is a little bit, now the front page is a little bit messed up, so okay. But I just wanted to talk a little bit more about these 2 pages, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about this. So any concerns or any feedback that you want to give?
Maybe the charts, they're not like aligned, the 3rd row from left to right.
Yeah, that could be an issue, yeah. It's a minor preference, but yeah.
And also like, it's too much text, it's like too descriptive. It should be like a little bit more summarized.
Okay.
Well, it has colors, so that's good.
Yeah, colors makes it very attractive. So overall, this report, right, from overall perspective, if you just look at it for 2 seconds, it has colors, it has an attractive front page, although right now it's messed up. And in terms of the feedback that you're gonna give on this kind of document, it's a lot of text, I agree. And we will see in the next document that I'm going to show that there's also a different way of showing the information. However, they are giving extra arguments, and you cannot instantly see it when you are just skimming through it for 2 seconds. But upon reading the document, and I'm also going to tell you that in the next couple of days, they do have a lot of arguments why they are making those bullet points. So instead of bullet points and not giving an argument why that is, they are providing some more information why they think it should be done like this or why it should be improved. So that's a good thing. However, I do think as if I would be an executive or if I would be a student and I only have like 5 minutes to look through this with my team to actually do something about it. For example, next week when we get the submissions on Monday and we have the deadline on Wednesday, like when I have that less of time, then I need to make sure that I can quickly use the information in my draft or in my report. So what I would suggest for this team is basically the information that they give is good. And I'm not saying if the information is constructive or not. That's something that I will talk to them personally. But in this case, what they could do is they could make a point here, make sure that just, let's say this is a point. I'm not sure what it says right now, but this is one solution. So this is one thing that they noticed from the report, and this is what they state from it, okay? And then under here, this is the explanation, for example, right? Then just make sure that you put like topics next to it. So for example, here you could say what we have seen, or this was shown in the report. And then you put like general comments like this, you put it like here as well, and you say this is our solution or best practices. So overall, the information in here is very good. However, it could be more structured and in less words based on the feedback that you already gave them, right? So yeah, I will give more information based on how the wording and what the content actually was, because there are a lot of stuff that I would like to mention what could be improved, but there are also a lot of good things. This is, yeah, let's start with the analytics summary. Why not? So this is one of the B2B coaches, and I found this very interesting. I'm pretty excited to hear what you guys think. So this is a 4-page document, okay? So this is the first 2 pages, and this is the next 2 pages. The first 2 pages, what comes up to you in your mind by just skimming it for 2 seconds? And you have to think as a client, right? Because this is B2B.
Basically, the reader can scroll through whatever he wants to find without having to spend too much time into looking into the actual wording.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a student report or feedback that you want to give to a student, or if you want to give information to a client. With this report, I can instantly see, oh, I want to have more information on promising markets, what the 6 reports did. I don't need, like, this is mainly for clients, okay? So yes, I would need an introduction maybe in the student reports, in the feedback that I want to give them. But for example, for a client, I don't need an introduction. I can instantly say, hey, from quantity basis, I only reviewed 6 reports. And in those 6 reports, this was it. So most promising markets, here you go. Targets that they announced in bullet points, around 70% of teams, right? So you can make it very structured, very easy for yourself. You don't have to provide a lot of content, a lot of wording, because you can say a lot of things with just a few words. Anything else?
Tim, can I just say something?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, I like how they said 17% of the team. So like they actually did the analytics. So it says how many reports were reviewed. So this is like so it's like say you and I were in our PhD programs. If we're reviewing our focus groups, this person actually did the analytics and the math to show 17% of teams suggested this. That actually shows that more than one person just agreed to that channel or that target. And so it kind of shows that they actually did analytical review versus just picking out suggestions. They actually did analysis.
Exactly. And what that means is that they not only did what Kim said, they also made sure that they used the information, right? It's not just looking at the reports from the students, making sure that you just pick out from the 6 reports every single thing. For example, the most promising markets, those were Canada, USA, etc. No, you also apply that information. And as a consultant, when you are talking to a client or when you're talking to a student, doesn't matter, you don't only want to look at the information and say, oh, this could have been done better, or this could have been improved. But you also want to make sure that you apply the theories, you apply your knowledge to it. So you get information and you can pass it along. That is something that everybody can do. And we can give it to my, I don't know, little brother of 13, but I can also give it to my grandma, right? If you give them a set of assignments and you make sure that it's structured and they exactly know what they have to do, anybody can do it. However, if I need a person that can apply the information that they have learned from their master, bachelor, from their work, for example, the head coaches with their work experience, then if they put that into Fusion, basically the report becomes a total different result, right? So here you can see 70% of teams suggested that. So it basically shows that this person actually put the time in, looked at the reports, and just made assumptions, made connections between the information that they got.
And so one person did point out that that means only 1 out of 6 teams, but you see the following bullet says almost all students would recommend. So just because 1 out of 6 teams recommended that, almost the rest of them recommended another. So just read what the text is saying and see the actual analytics, and also look, I'm just replying to what somebody said in the comments. So just because it says one out of 6 teams, that's also representative of a sample size, you guys. So just because this is 6 teams, if you were to make that reflective of 100 teams, so I mean it's a stretch, but you with like probably a lot of error term. But if you were to multiply that into 100 teams, you would probably get around 17 teams, which would be what 14 out of 100 or 15 out of 100 teams would say this, and then the rest would say something else. Okay, so we're just talking about statistics. So, yeah.
Yeah, and anyway. Xculture with the students, for example, when they provide their final reports to be submitted so that they can get a grade on their university for that course when they are partaking in Xculture, 80 or 85% of those are average. The same goes when you apply for application. You will have other applicants that are going for the same job as you are, but there is a certain amount of people that have the same degree as you, the same skills as you, and those are based on average. There are a couple of people that can speak 3 languages, and suddenly they are in the 95th percentile, you know? So in this case, he just made the assumption that 70% of all teams or teams suggested that this is something that they would like to do for this company. And just to make sure that you see the difference, around 70% of teams suggested that. However, he mentions all students. So that is not the same thing that he's mentioning. So almost all students, he could mean almost all students in the program, or he could mean all the students in the teams. So it's not suddenly the 17% anymore. It's just all the students in those 6 teams. So yes, so there's a difference between that. So you can either apply the information that you get, or you can just simply pick and nick out of the reports that you get and then just put it in there and tell myself or tell yourself that as a summary, right? So there's a difference between that. So this is a very good report, a very good report. Anything else from this report? Because there is something missing actually. And I'm wondering if you can notice what it is. And I put the last 2 pages on just as a hint because it should be in the last 2 pages. Nobody?
Possibly some screenshots?
Sorry, what?
Some screenshots maybe?
Yeah, could be. But something else as well. What do you normally do when you write a report or write an analytic summary? Like, let's say, not an analytic summary, but let's say you have an assignment for your bachelor or master, and you basically have to do a paper or an essay. And eventually the professor asks you, what was the outcome? What do you normally do in your paper to express that outcome?
Possibly that could be part of it. Pearl says maybe a chart or something, or a conclusion statement. Yes.
Exactly. Conclusion. Although you're basically making sure that it's a summary, etc., you're applying your own theories, applying your own stuff, and you could put references into it, etc., which you used for that. However, there's always a conclusion that needs to be there, right? Like, you always need to tell, okay, apart from this information and apart from all the percentages that I just gave you, in these short few sentences, I want to make sure that you have the conclusion there. So it could be, out of the 6 promising markets, the USA was the most prominent, and you could see that through the targeted international schools or the proposed slogan that it just fitted that specific area the most. So you always have to give a conclusion, all right? So yeah, conclusion, that was it. I had another one. Let's go to this one. Why not? So this is one of the analytic summaries again, but it goes for both the students and for the client. So it's both consulting, it's just in a different manner. This is the report that I got from the company for Ultra, and this is the first page. Okay, if I'm correct, let me just quickly check.
You guys, I just want to say we have 21 participants. I'm so proud of you guys for being here on your Sunday. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, so these are the first 2 pages. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scroll through the pages, and then eventually I'm going to stop and ask you for your opinion, okay? Mm-hmm. So just make notice of the little topics that they put into their report and the graphics that they put into the report and how they make sure that the formatting, because it's the first actual report from the 2 that we already seen, which makes use of like little notifications, like making sure that the reader knows that they have to read that part, okay? So this is the first 2 pages. The 3rd and the 4th. Going further. And that was it. So what do you see by just skimming it, how I just did it? Like, I gave you 2 seconds per page. What do you see and what do you want to say about it? And don't be shy. It's like a learning process, right? We learn from you guys and you learn from us.
All right, so one person says the bold items in italics stand out as important topics as far as the text goes. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. This is the first report that, during this webinar, that uses bold font to just make sure that, in this case, we know that these words are important, right?
They also use a lot of charts and infographics, which is like really, really good. It catches like the attention of the reader.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And you can see like what the previous report did with really making an analytic summary, making sure that there's like not that much information there, but enough information to give a good amount of details. You can see that they actually didn't do that. They just did it in a graph, right? So you can do the same information, like the 17% of all teams, you can do that in a graph as well. And that's that. So you don't have to, it can go both ways. Is there another person in the chat that said something? Oh my God. Is this your report, Maria? Is this your report? I'm sorry. But then you get your half of your feedback already during the webinar. So what else? What else can you say about this? Let's go here for the promotion materials. What can you see? What you haven't seen before?
She gives credit to specify the team's info.
What else? Like literally this, what I'm hovering over right now. Like this is the first report that we see in this webinar that actually shows certain information about the company. Now, if this is from the team itself, what they curated, it is very much recommended to use it. The reason why is that they get an instant view of what the teams are working on, or in terms of promotion materials, a client of ours could be saying, hey, I'm looking at this right now. I know it's not their final report yet, but this looks very interesting, right? I will make a note of this. I will make sure that I read their report, not their whole report, maybe their summary, the executive summary, and the promotion materials, because I think that we can use this. Or they will contact us or contact the team and say, hey, can we use your idea right now? Because this is actually really good. We want to use this. And this saves us trouble with our marketing team. So if you have these kinds of things in your reports and you are kind of worried, okay, what do I have to say about this? You can also show this. Yes, it takes a lot of space. So there's kind of like, you have to kind of feel on intuition, like how much you can put into a document like this. But it's not wrong to show this. It's actually very informative, okay? The pressure though. Same as this. You can see that every single team has a different opinion on how the promotion materials should look like, right? And instead of narrowing it down on a couple of bullet points, mentioning, okay, this is how this team thinks about this, or using your analytics skills, basically saying 17% does this, you can basically show them, hey, I don't want to talk too much, but what I do want to show you is that this is what the teams currently are doing. Like, the only thing is that if you have a feeling that they created this themselves, share it, okay? Because this is something that is very informative. If you feel that this comes directly from a source or from a textbook or from a website or from anywhere else that is not theirs, it's kind of like Wikipedia, right? Like a lot of reports, and the reason why all of the reports, 80% of them are an average basis from all the students, is because a lot of reports are very wordy. They're very unstructured. They begin at one point, but don't finish with a conclusion with each page that they have, etc. So it's very long and exhausting to read. And a lot of that information comes from Wikipedia. So whenever you want to make a paper for a client, what the students are currently doing, you want to be as short as possible, directly to the point, because when they read your summary and they see that you have been to the point, they want to read the rest as well, because they see, hey, we're not just reading like a storybook, but we're actually reading some suggestions that we can use, and it only takes us 5 minutes. So the same goes for this. only share pictures, and that is for everything that you do. And I'm sure Kim, Blurta, because they're researchers doing PhD, I'm pretty sure that they can agree with me. If you're sharing pictures, first of all, make sure that the picture is relevant, okay? Make sure that it either is from the team, from your students, or if it's not, then don't share it. Secondly, what I'm currently not seeing, and I'm seeing it with some pictures, but I'm not sure if that's the relevant information that you should be sharing, but there's no description of what this means. Like, at least I would have liked, as a client, for example, if I would have to look at this, I would have liked to know, okay, this is something that the team created, but there's no information about this. So there would be one sentence or one bullet point where the person explains, and that's why you also have those figure 10 smart model, for example, right? It comes from this source, this blah, 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 blah. So here you see that there's a source listed, but I'm not sure what the team wanted with this, right? So one sentence about your opinion, your summary on how the team wanted to go forward with this would be nice, just to explain it. But I think Kim and Blurta can agree with this, that it's very important to only share relevant information that actually can help you sell your idea.
On that topic, at the PhD level or higher levels, maybe not as much imperative for this, but if you really want to go above and beyond, add captions to why this screenshot is in your report. Add a caption and an analysis of each one, like what you see, what catches your eye, maybe what it could use to make it a little bit better. Things that show that, just like a tiny little 2-word or 2-sentence of each caption when you add a picture.
Exactly. And it's not to make sure that you guys have to do more work or that you have to really look deep into the reports, but it just makes your life easier as well. And it makes the life of the student, the client, for us, it makes it much easier because we instantly know what it means. Mm-hmm. So when you're reading a book, or read a paper, for example, when Kim does that for her research, if somebody is very unstructured, it's a very long process and very tiring process to read that report. If you have a report that is very well written, has captions, has a lot of information, or like graphs that are easy to understand, then it becomes like a really, I wouldn't say exciting exercise, but it would be a little bit more motivating to read it, right? And that's what you want with the students, that you want them to use your feedback. And with the clients especially, when you are in contact with them in 2 weeks, you want to use their feedback to make yours better, and then vice versa, get approval from them to maybe get a recommendation letter. Or in this case, for the head coaches, if you would like to have a job, I don't know, in Italy or for one of the companies in the US with the clients, you're in direct contact with them, although I'm in CC. But in this case, you could make your case after if they're very satisfied with you, if you would like to apply, for example, right? There's a lot of opportunities there, and everything that you do in life has some kind of meaning to it. And Blurta, with her webinars, is just an example of that, how she's using it for her PhD. Yeah, so we already mentioned this. So in terms of how much you should share, there is a limit, of course, when it becomes annoying or when it becomes like a little bit too long and wordy. But in this case, this is also good information, you know? Like if you don't want to write too much, with this kind of graph, I can instantly see, okay, this is happening. With this graph, I can instantly see, okay, this is what they're working on right now. I don't even have to read that much. I just have to read the figure, and this is what we mean with captions, where it comes from, etc. Right? So yeah, just keep that in mind. Are there any examples for B2C? The problem is, and that will be actually next week on the webinar when we have just before the break of 1 week, because the B2C head coaches are currently working on week 1. So they have received your first submissions that you delivered last Sunday, and they're working on that right now, and their deadline is today. So next week in the webinar, we will be discussing both them and the rest of them. So basically all 3 positions, B2C, B2B, and the head coaches with their groups will be discussed. So yeah, these were the 3 reports that I actually just quickly wanted to show. And just to give you an idea of what we're expecting, how you can improve it, and not only just for us for passing the coaching program, but improve yourself, right? That's the most important part. That's what we're here for as well. Besides the program, that eventually with the recommendation letter, we can directly say to them, or if they call us, that we can say, yes, this person really improved over time. This is what they have done with their portfolio, etc. Any questions about that?
Those were the great examples, I suppose, and yeah, we can improve upon whatever we have done till now. Thanks.
Also, I have a question. When will you be able to post this video so that we can use it as a reference when we're building our own?
That lies with YouTube actually, but what I'm suggesting, because the other one is not even uploaded yet due to YouTube because it's currently uploading, I think we should just put it in Dropbox. What do you think, Kim? So that they can just use the file, put it on their computer, and basically play it with.
Absolutely.
The application that they have.
I love the idea of using Dropbox. So in fact, I'm trying to figure out the Dropbox right here to see how we could get it in there. But just to like label a folder saying examples, and like maybe somehow label the examples on maybe, could you, I don't know, make it specific so that way the coaches know what they're looking at if they haven't attended this webinar per se. But yeah, I definitely like having the idea of Dropbox.
Okay. Well, then
one suggestion came from my side.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you were trying to upload the video on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I'm still working on it.
The thing is that sometimes what happens is that YouTube kind of gets logged off by itself. So so I suggest that you just check that box where you can say that, keep me logged in. Keep me logged in.
Oh, keep me logged in. Okay.
Yeah. So that would actually help you upload the videos of longer duration. It happens sometimes. Are you using your laptop or your mobile phone for uploading purposes?
I was using the laptop, and now I'm using my phone because we're on share screen and I can't minimize it. So now I'm on my phone.
All right. So the phone actually is even trickier. It keeps on. It keeps on logging off. Yeah. So I suggest you better use your laptop or PC or something like that, and keep that checked in, keep me logged in. So when you log in or sign in, just make sure that you are using your normal window, not incognito mode.
Oh, yeah.
Keep me logged in. Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
would help. Yeah, sure. And one more thing, because if it is on YouTube, it is quite useful. Anyone can access the video and learn from the things.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can just send you guys the links, and so you don't have to download it.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything, you guys? Let's see. Any questions so far? So you guys had help with reviewing comments. You guys had help with reviewing reports. Anything else you guys need? Don't forget to submit your answers to that form I just posted in WhatsApp, so I can get better webinar times for you guys.
Yes, one more thing from my side, Kim, about reviewing the comments.
Mm-hmm.
Are we supposed to report the comments to you or our head coaches or Tim or anybody?
Yes, so actually, great question. So that's going to go to the, you can send it to me or the X-Culture coaching email. So if you see issues, so you've filtered through, you've identified issues and the teams that the issues are going to, send them to the X-Culture coaching or me. We're the same person, so it doesn't matter. But, and so that's actually, the comments are where we get the majority of our cases from. versus students submitting them on their own. And you'll find that the majority of them are one of our teammates isn't participating, or I'm the only one participating. And so those are the easiest ones. Where it gets tricky is where we get some more severe issues like harassment or stalking, things like that. So if you see any of those, definitely contact me. If you see any issues at all, just let us know. Yeah, send them to, where are they sending them to initially, Tim?
The reviews and the comments, I think it goes directly via you. Yeah, it goes directly via the cases department. So for you in this case.
Yeah, so those get sent to the X-Culture coaching. And so let me know the issue, the team, and we can find out, and the person who submitted it, and we can definitely go from there, and I can find out the rest of the teammates' names, and yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Daylight. Okay, so this question about what is daylight savings time in the U.S. Daylight savings time is a thing that used to, was used for farmers way back when. I don't know why we still do it. We still have agriculture, but end of story. We do daylight savings still. It's now, right now, it is not 12 p.m. in the U.S. Eastern Standard Time. It is 1:48. Okay, so when you guys are filling out your survey, keep in mind that it is right now 1:48. When yesterday it would have been 12:48. Okay.
I guess the daylight saving time changes from tomorrow, is it?
It's today. It actually already happened. So today is the accurate time.
Oh yeah, yeah, 10th of yeah, 10th.
Yeah. Today is the accurate time. Yesterday it was a different time zone time, and so today, right now, it is 1:48 p.m. In Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so Tim, what time is it there?
5:49.
5:49. So you got in Spain. You're in Spain. You are 4 hours.
5 hours. Yeah, 4 hours. I thought 5 hours.
Oh, 5 minus 1 is 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so Spain has a 4-hour difference. Okay, if that helps you guys any. Okay, so, or you could just Google it. Just Google the time zone difference right now.
Yeah, if we don't have any more questions, then, I mean, we have been over time for like 50 minutes. So normally we take an hour for the webinars, but actually due to the reviews and due to all the questions that we had, we actually made it almost a 2-hour webinar. So I'm actually impressed.
I'm impressed. You guys are so great. And thank you for devoting your part of your Sunday to us. Like I said, fill out the survey. I will try to post more webinars for your guys' time zones. So Sundays will be the initial one, and then I'll have additional ones throughout the week to catch people up who couldn't make it. And yeah, and then also we'll be beta testing the Google Classrooms. Okay. So, anything else, you guys? And if not, we can call it a wrap. Okie doke. All right, so if you do have questions and you're just feeling shy, feel free to message me or Tim. WhatsApp me anytime. I respond to WhatsApp. Most of the times I say when I'm at work. So I'm free all day today. If you got questions, let me know. Okay. All right, so have a great day, everyone. Great afternoon, great week.
Bye.
See you soon. See you in Canada.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.